It was a night where chaos reigned, the ring was no longer sacred, and the tables were sacrificed in the name of brutality. On an electric Monday Night Raw, the WWE Universe witnessed an unhinged Drew McIntyre unleash a side of himself few dared to awaken, one that brought Damian Priest to his knees and to the wood, quite literally. As bodies flew, splinters scattered, and the arena echoed with the collective gasp of fans, one man watched with a calculating glare from behind the curtain, the game himself, Triple H. As the final table collapsed under the weight of a war born from vengeance and power, cameras cut to the backstage area. There stood Triple H, arms crossed, expression unreadable, surrounded by producers and agents frozen in stunned silence. McIntyre, now breathing heavy and victorious in the ring, had just sent Priest through not one, not two, but 3 tables. A message written in pain and chaos. Triple H turned to the nearest camera, smirked, and offered only 2 words. And with that, the moment was immortalized. The carnage that preceded the words. To understand why Triple H chose those 2 words, and only those words, you have to understand what led to this moment. The tensions between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest had been simmering for weeks, stoked by near-constant interference, backstage ambushes, and verbal sparring that boiled over into outright hostility. But no one expected McIntyre to snap the way he did. It started with a stare. Priest made his entrance, cocky and composed, but Drew's eyes burned like a warrior who had already visualized the violence to come. The match started technical, but within minutes, all notions of sportsmanship were obliterated. Chairs flew. Announce tables shook. The steel steps were weaponized. Then came the real moment, the table trilogy. McIntyre, already bleeding from his forehead, caught Priest midair with a Glasgow kiss that staggered the Archer of Infamy. What followed was a ruthless claymore that launched Priest out of the ring. Drew wasn't done. He grabbed the steel steps, placed a table atop them, then dragged Priest's nearly limp body out for a superplex through the first table. The crowd erupted. Then he slid 2 more tables into the ring, stacked them like a sadistic monument to destruction, and, after a guttural roar to the heavens, powerbombed Priest through both in a spine-shattering final. Triple H's 2-word reaction wasn't just offended, it was poetic. It was the kind of compliment only someone like the game, who made his name in wars of attrition and ladder match massacres, could deliver. Let's break down those 2 words. To a casual observer, there's nothing beautiful about being slammed through wood and steel. But to those in the industry, to the ones who live and breathe storytelling through physicality, there is a certain elegance in the chaos. McIntyre's destruction of Priest wasn't random. It was timed, paced, and executed with surgical precision. It was a symphony of rage, and each table was a note in the crescendo. Triple H saw that. He saw the artistry in McIntyre's methodical breakdown of his opponent, the way he built tension, the way he crescendoed the moment. It wasn't just an attack, it was a statement. A character-defining beat. That's beautiful in the language of wrestling. Well, that one's self-explanatory. But even in that, there's a specific type of violence that Triple H meant. Not senseless, not excessive, but meaningful. This was not a hardcore match for shock value. This was a psychological war, and every shattered table told a story. McIntyre didn't just want to win, he wanted to humiliate, to punish, to send a message to the locker room, that he is not a man to be underestimated, and that Damian Priest made the mistake of forgetting that. Triple H has built careers on that kind of message. From his wars with Mick Foley to his legendary matches with The Rock and Shawn Michaels, violence with purpose is a currency he understands intimately. So when he called McIntyre's destruction beautiful violence, it wasn't just approval, it was validation. A signal to the WWE Universe and the locker room. Triple H's reaction is more than just a backstage moment for a WWE digital exclusive. It's a signal. It tells the WWE Universe and the locker room that the old era of sanitized conflict is over. We are now deep in the game era where grit, storytelling, and sheer physical spectacle drive the product. It also hints at something more tantalizing. Could Triple H be positioning McIntyre as the next top guy? With Roman Reigns' dominance finally cracking, Seth Rollins battling injuries, and Cody Rhodes completing his story, there's a power vacuum. McIntyre's violent showcase could be his application for the throne, and beautiful violence might just be the approval stamp from the Kingmaker himself. For Damian Priest, this isn't just a loss, it's a reckoning. Whether this sets him on a path of redemption, revenge, or reinvention remains to be seen. For Drew, this may be the beginning of a darker arc, a warpath version of him that doesn't just beat opponents but breaks them. Rumors are already swirling about a possible last man standing match at the next premium live event, or even a no-holds-barred match at Backlash. And if that's the case, we may not have seen the last table shattered between these two gladiators. In a world where promos can run 10 minutes and reactions are often exaggerated, Triple H did something rare. He understated the moment. 2 words. No overacting, no yelling. Just a knowing smirk and a phrase that instantly trended on X, formerly Twitter. It's not just a quote. It's a mood, a statement, a mission. He might just become the poster boy for the next era of WWE. Because in the eyes of the game, when the violence is this calculated, this purposeful, and this entertaining, there's only one thing left to say.